All right, guys, you should be able to hear me now on YouTube. All right, so BYND, guys, beautiful opening range breakdown. Very difficult to find shares for short on this one, though. Since it IPO'd, it's not easy to find those shares. But you can see here, beautiful range. You do get a pullback within this 5 minute, right in the actual candle. All right, guys, see a beautiful pullback. You should be able to hear me now on YouTube. Towards the, let me mute this here, towards the bottom here, and then becomes a beautiful trade. But again, I was not paying too close attention. I did not have shares for short, so not sure how this price action was. But again, we knew BYND was going to be active because it had a beautiful pre-market activity, as you can see here, creating a beautiful range with some good volume. And then when it opened up, it actually traded pretty well towards the bottom. RAD, oh man, this one was so nice, so nice. Beautiful opening range, guys. A great volume. Look at the bottom down here, just beautiful highs and lows. The 1 minute also very, very clean. Some good order flow on the time and sales, and level 2 is looking amazing. And as you can see here, we had a nice opening range. Slight pullback here. That was your entry. I missed it. By the time I tried to hit this thing popped up almost 20-30 cents. So it was too late to chase it there. You don't want to get caught here and have to deal with this pullback, because after every big move, there's usually, not always, but usually that type of pullback. You don't want to be the guy buying here and having to deal with the emotions of already being down 20 cents on a stock that's $9. That's something you want to be very, very careful with. And then here again, just took off nicely, hitting some levels. We have 915. We also had this one all the way up here at 992. Again, traded very well. Then from here, got very toppy. Try to find a support and retest the high of the day, but was not able to get above that or near it. And you can see here the huge drop off on ARD. There were some traders that took this trade. I know Arcelia took this trade as well. So congrats if you was able to capitalize on this amazing move. SQ was also very active. I don't trade SQ much because I'm always concerned. I have never been able to trade this stock well. For some reason, Brian does amazing on it. If you had a 2 minute opening range breakup, you did very well yesterday. And if you had a rising devil strategy and you shorted up here, you did well as well. But this is what I don't like about SQ. Look at this drop here. I mean, that's engulfing. That's scary right there. So again, SQ is one of those stocks that's very difficult to trade, but was very active yesterday, as you can see here. So next we had Roku. So Roku, nice opening range breakdown here. Let me get this a little better. Here we go. So again, Roku, we were expecting this to sell down, Norman. It actually did. Beautiful sellout here. So again, opening range gives you a nice pullback. And what I like about this one is that it does not establish a trend above the VWAP, right? It doesn't run too much on your opening range. It cannot establish above the VWAP. Great entry for a short there. And you can see how it finds the 9 EMA nicely and just heads down towards these levels, hitting that 150 again. So again, Roku has been very active over the last couple of days, and I'm sure we'll be watching this one today, Friday, to see how we end the week. Baidu was also very clean after this nasty candle on the 5. It actually gave you a beautiful pop, found some support around these moving averages here, comes above VWAP, and as we know, guys, once you get above VWAP, you want to get that retest. That's your retest right there on this candle. Retest to go long, finds the 9 EMA and rises nicely all the way almost towards the high of the day. Couldn't quite make it there. But again, this could have been also a part of a bad print as well. But you can see here how it rises up nicely, hitting that 107.50 area on Baidu. So again, a lot of activity going on there. My issue with this one was just this 5 minute opening candle was a little tough to trade or predict what was going to happen next. CCL, guys, was very nice. This was definitely the trade of the day. Rising Devil. And the Rising Devil is, guys, a strategy that Brian has takes quite a bit. So it sells down at the pre-market and then it finds the bottom at the open. It shoots up as it did here. This is where you take entry for a short, and the stock usually plummets from there, heading down towards these levels. CCL was amazing, guys. Traded very well. I waited for opening range breakdown on this on the 5, but didn't get the best entry and was not able to capitalize on that move. But again, this traded very well. Had a beautiful open. Then from there, it just became a little, not choppy, but you have a nice double bottom here, breaks out of the VWAP, and you could have taken an opportunity there. But from there, it just becomes very choppy for the rest of the day. So that is what we had yesterday. We also had Peloton that opened up, PTON. So let's see how that traded yesterday on the 5. All right, here we go. So again, opened up a little later than what we expected, 115, I believe so, right? That's what it looks like, or 12ish. But again, you can see here, popped up. Yeah, pretty late for IPO. Usually we get these around 10:30, 11. Go ahead.
It was about noon. They had problems getting market balance in it. And the price kept ticking down. The IPO price was $29. And then when it opened, it was indicated as low as like 21 bucks at one point. They walked it back up. It just looked like it was going to struggle from the get-go. So that drop in it was pretty easily anticipated, really. It never challenged the IPO price at 29. So, the problem is, though, you can't short it. There's no shares for short on that.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing like CFDs or something like that. But
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Again, so dropped off towards the end of the day, so we'll see how that plays out. We'll keep an eye on it. As IPOs have not had a good year this year, at least the main ones that have opened up, like Lyft, Uber, and so forth.
Unless you just bought Beyond the Meat the day it opened and sat on it for several months. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, guys, so let's get into what the SPY is doing today. Norm, what do we have going on this Friday?
Yeah, so SPY is up 0.25% so far this morning. It's not a big gap, but it's bigger than we've had the last few days. It's okay volume, not great. Volume starting to come in. We had a number of economic reports that just came out when we cranked up the show about 10 minutes ago. Durable goods, CapEx, personal income, consumer spending, core inflation, and a couple of Fed members are speaking at various events today. Then at 10 a.m., consumer sentiment for September will be coming out as well. So I don't have the numbers yet in front of me. I've been waiting to get them for some reason. My feed is delayed on it. But it doesn't look like it's done a whole lot as far as that data coming out so far.
All right, excellent, guys. Let's get into our gappers list. Let's start with LVS on here. So let's put this over here. So LVS is up 5%, 101,000 shares traded so far. Not the best pre-market activity, pretty choppy right now. So we'll see how that turns out. Daily chart looks okay, though. We do have a nice range on the daily. We're right below this 200 moving average, it looks like. So again, this will be interesting to watch today. Las Vegas Sand, Norm, any news on this?
Yeah, so actually we had something similar to this a couple of days ago. What was it, Tuesday, Wednesday? So it was just announced that Las Vegas Sands is going to replace another stock in the S&P 500 index. And what happens in that case is you then have, one of the most commonly traded passive investments is like an S&P 500 index fund. So once a stock moves into that, they have to be purchased by mutual funds and things of that nature. So it's going to cause people to get in there for the reweighting, see if they can get a pop on it.
All right, perfect. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Again, right now, not looking all that great under activity, but it is a nicey stock. They tend not to have the best pre-market activity, as we've seen in the past on several of these nicey tickers. WFC has been stuck in a range the last couple of days here between 49 and between 49.63 and what looks to be like 48.50ish, 48.40. And today we're breaking out actually with some pretty decent pre-market activity for a bank, because usually these bank stocks do not trade very well. They're very choppy throughout the day. They don't move a lot. But today it looks like they have some good news, up 3% with 1.3 million shares traded so far. What's going on with Wells Fargo today?
Well, so Wells Fargo's, I think most people probably know Wells Fargo's had a lot of controversy going on the last few years. They were incentivizing bank people for signing them up for products they didn't really sign up for. And a number of things have been called out at Wells Fargo in the last, I want to say 5 or 6 years at least. So they actually replaced their CEO. And the announcement was last night. He used to be, I believe, the head of Bank of New York Mellon, which is a well-known institution and ethical and everything else. I think that's probably what they were shooting for. So it looks like this gap up is, people getting into it, feeling like he'll be able to clean up their act.
Gotcha. All right, so here we have next CTPR. This one we have traded in the past. Actually, I think a couple of days ago gave us some nice moves. CTRP. Let me correct that. CTRP. So this one is down 2.4 this morning. 846,000 shares traded. so far. So this one's been getting hammered. It looks like going down from 36 all the way down to 29, losing some areas of support, as you can see on here. Again, just not able to find a foothold, looks like. Pre-market activity looks pretty clean at the moment. Some good volume, 856. Norm, what's causing this drop? Obviously, it didn't start today. It's been starting over like a few couple of days.
Yeah, it did. Well, one thing that caused it is they had a secondary offering. So that dilutes stock shares, and it's kind of a signal to, if you're running a company and you want to raise capital, if your stock, if you feel like your stock is underpriced, you're not going to do that. If you feel like it's overpriced and you can get a good deal by offering more shares and raising money based off that, then you do it. So it's kind of not only are you diluting shares, but you're also kind of indicating that you think maybe it's overpriced. Then news has come out that Baidu, who is a 18% investor in C-Trip, is reducing their position in it. So two things there, two knocks against it, caused it to trade down the last couple of days.
All right, excellent. So yeah, Baidu, let's see what that is up to. That was in play yesterday. See what's going on with that today. Just take a look at it. Pretty flat, no volume at the moment. Had a nice big couple of days the last 3 days, especially these two here selling down and kind of coming right back up from this 97 area. And then yesterday, kind of more of an indecision day. So it could be a good one for a continuation, but the volume is not there right now. All right, the one we've been waiting for, MU. I see you guys already excited in the chat talking about MU. Let's see what's going on here.
MU's the bell of the ball today.
Yeah, yep. So as you guys might be aware, yesterday this thing dropped right at the close. They had earnings, and just look at this massive drop here right after the close yesterday. So again, a reason why you don't want to hold through earnings, it's just one of those things that you don't know what to expect. And Norm, give us some insight, because I heard they had good earnings. They had good forward guidance. What's going on with these guys today?
Yeah, so they had their earnings yesterday, their earnings release yesterday. The semiconductor, if you go back and look at about 2 years of data, either on a weekly or a daily chart, either one, you'll see that the semis have been pretty beaten up since this early 2018. And even with this recent run that they've had in MU, it still has failed to get up to, the all-time high of, 60, or the recent high of in 18 of low to mid 60s, topped out essentially $51 or so. So they beat their earnings, they beat their revenues, but those are really kind of low estimates that very, very conservative estimates, beat down estimates that the street had given them, and they beat those. But the problem is their guidance, forward guidance was weak. I mean, there are some glimmers of hope. DRAM pricing, which is a big part of their business, has collapsed over the last few years, and semiconductor sector is very cyclical in that sense. You go through these periods where prices are high, and it's like a commodity. These companies just pipe them out, and as they build capacity, then they oversupply the market, and it causes this dive. And it's happened over and over. It happens every few years. And so this DRAM pricing and is one, and NAND is the other one, DRAM and NAND. But DRAM price dropping over the last couple of years is what's caused these to drop. So people are predicting, some people they're kind of near the trough of this cycle. And that's what's caused India to bounce back a little bit. But it looks like, based on their guidance, that it might be a little further away than people thought.
Gotcha. They have an amazing daily chart here. We're sitting right at a level of resistance, looks like, over the last couple of days. So right on there. So interesting to see what MU is going to do today. Definitely going to be on my list to watch this morning. All right, let's get to Nasdaq active. So we have MU on here, obviously on our list. CTRP on our list as well. Very active, 944,000 and climbing. NCTY is one that doesn't trade very well, so I'm going to skip this one. We looked at this one in the past. Again, it's just very choppy, not one that I want to spend time on. Volatility index, pretty flat right now, just down 1.6, not much going on there. Here's Eric. Eric is usually on this list, always gapping up or down,
Garbage.
just because it's a foreign stock, so nothing good going on there. HSGX, also penny stock.
Carlos,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start bribing you to just skip over Eric.
Yeah, right. Just take it out of here. Just don't waste our time here. OPTT is another one too. That this is garbage. This one too. HSGX also garbage. TLT. TLT is a treasury, right? Yeah, this is treasury. So it's not
It's
really.
a treasury.
Yeah, not really anything we could look at. GHSI, also another one that's crap. SESN, also not great. We'll skip this one. And here we have AMD, our buddy. So is AMD doing anything now that MU is active? What did it do yesterday? Yesterday looked like it actually had a pretty okay day trading wise. Dropped down here, couldn't get above the previous day, this level here, whatever the high of the day was. But AMD is interesting. You know what? AMD could be one that we watch there as a possible because it might have some sympathy movements just because MU is moving. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. As we know, this one's no good. PSTV, what is this one doing? Had a big day a couple of, I think it was last week or the beginning of this week. Nice big red day over here, just dropped. Actually, this is one, guys. We didn't have this on our list, or at least we looked at it, we didn't keep it. There was a massive drop out of nowhere. I think it got halted and it gapped down a couple of yeah, here it is. In the middle of the day, it's just doing nothing. Then look at this drop. No, that's not it. No, there's a bigger drop. Forgot what day it was. Maybe we can't go back that far. But yeah, if you look at that day here, this day the drop here was insane. So again, just be careful with this type of stock. I'm not even gonna look at it, just too risky. AGTC, this one is also not trading too well right now. 185,000 shares traded. Look at the daily chart, how nasty this is. Just not clean at all. You do have a nice range between here and here. It's trading very well. Gapping up today 7.5. But again, I'm looking at this activity. I'm not seeing anything that I possibly like. Let's check the average, the ATR on this one, AGTC. It's 18. It's 18. So if it can get a better pre-market activity, it will be worth watching. But let's put it down here just as a possible. We'll come back to it closer to 9:15. OPTT, also one that doesn't trade very well. GLBS, another one that's also not great. ADRO, no volume. GNCA, no volume. ACRS, same. SESM, we looked at already. DSLV, also not looking great. Only 28,000 shares traded, and that is the last one on this list. Yes. All right. What do you guys have in your end? Norm, what do you like this morning?
I'm going to keep my eye on CCL, see if there's any kind of continuation move on it. And Beyond the Meat actually was trading interestingly yesterday, so I'm going to have my eye on that one as well. Then yesterday, Interactive Brokers announced that they're going to come out with essentially it's called IBKR Lite, and it'll be a commission-free, no minimums, no trading, no inactivity fees kind of deal. Platform to rival Robinhood to get people into investing and or trading. So I'm going to keep my eye. It really hit their competition yesterday. AMTD was one of them, which is TD Ameritrade. Doesn't have the volume. It's literally not had a share traded yet this morning, but it took a massive plunge yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep my eye on it in case something happens. Another one that got hit was E-Trade and Schwab. So, but I think I'm going to use Ameritrade in this case.
Yeah, that'll be a good one to watch. Also, CCL, I like this one for a continuation. It's actually gapping down 1.6. Does not have the volume here, but this will be a good one to watch as well. All right, folks, what do you guys have in there, man?
One other thing. So I'm looking to see 42 on CCL has been an important number. I'm going to see if it either can bounce from that when it gets down there. I mentioned it yesterday. I thought it would go to 42 yesterday, and it didn't. Yeah. But it looks like it's at least going to try to get to 42. If it can't, we'll see if it'll bounce, and if it breaks through that, it might be an interesting short opportunity. The other one I was going to mention, Roku, has gotten down at the bottom end of this recent range as well, it's bounced off 100 a couple of times. It's been consolidating between 100 and let's say 108, I believe, 109. So I'm going to see, it looks like it's consolidating here, possibly for another leg down. If it can get through 100, might be interesting.
Yeah, definitely has a nice daily here on Roku. So looking forward to see what that's going to do as well. All right, so let's see what you guys have on your end. Let's start with the chat over here. So we have CTRP, we have already. MU definitely in play. LTM, let's see what that's doing. LTM, 188,000 shares traded so far. Looks like we have a gap up here of 33.7. What kind of stock is this? The daily looks a little funky, but it looks very active right now. It's pretty active with the volume, but the market, but it's pretty flat right now. What was that, Norm?
This is a Chilean airline, and its average volume is 367,000 shares a day. It's not something I would touch with my worst enemies.
Yeah, it's something doesn't look clean on here. So be very careful. You're going to trade this one today. All right, what else we have, guys? So we have UNH. This is the healthcare, I believe, right? UNH.
Yeah, United Healthcare. UNH.
Right. Here we go. Yeah, no activity right now, guys, on this one. Not moving at all. But yeah, they had big day yesterday, Mark. I do agree. Good for continuation play. Yes, if you can get the volume here, whatever news this was, obviously is a big drop. Whatever news that is, could be a good continuation play. Let's look at Tesla. What do we have on Tesla? Tesla also had a nice big day yesterday. After this beautiful drop here, kind of recover a bit back into this area of resistance and support, right? Resistance right on here and support for these couple of days. So it could be a good one for continuation. Either way, is it going to reject from here and head back down, or are we going to break out of this 242 previous day close and head higher? So this is a good one actually for a continuation. I'm not going to add it right now. The volume is not great, but definitely if you guys see something there, I'll call it out. All right, what else do we have, guys? UGAS. So UGAS, I don't really trade UGAS as a day trade. This is something that Brian is really good at, which he is back, by the way, in the chat room. Usually when he comes on around 9:15 or so, 9:10, he can go over UGAS and some of the other stuff that he's watching. But I typically do not trade this the way I would trade regular stocks. PRGS. PRGS is light on the volume right now, but aside from the volume, also the daily here looks very, very choppy. I do like this drop. It's a beautiful drop, 11.5. And you're sitting right at an area of support. We lost some of that already for the pre-market low. But right now, the pre-market activity, guys, not looking all that great on PRGS. What else we have? Peloton. Yeah, Peloton. I don't trade recent IPOs, especially one that's only a day old. So it'll be interesting to see what happens out of this. We just don't have enough levels. We only have the high and low from yesterday, and we have the moving averages have not really settled in yet. But it could be a good one to watch for a good scalp, a good opening range, maybe up or down. But just be aware that this one won't be on my list. All right, what else? I think that's basically it. PRGS we looked at. LTM we looked at already. All right, guys, let's get into this is good. Actually, it's pretty good for a Friday. Not bad at all. Let's get into announcements,
especially considering what the first part of the week was kind of garbage. So
I was gonna say
it's improved. We're improving a little bit.
Yeah, this week has not been all that great. Very choppy. We did have a couple of good days and some good moves, but overall, you look at your charts and your watches, and you're like, oh man, there were so many other moves I could have taken. This week, I looked at my chart. I'm like, I'm lucky I got this one or that trade. So that works out.
Yep. All right, guys. So I know it says the pics will be up soon of the New York meetup with Dr. Steenbarger. They are on Facebook. I think there are 275 of them or so. So hop over there, look at the professional photographs, and see if you can find yourself in them. And it was some really great pictures. Had a great time. So just one more time, thank you everybody for coming out and seeing us. Sorry, this slide has not been updated since the Lifetime webinar last night. We went really late, so I wasn't able to change it, but good questions in there. Recording, it will be up soon if you missed it. And then task number 1, best trader competition. I believe it ends on Monday, so I'm curious to see how everything turns out there. You can check the live leaderboard at onebesttrader.com. Bearable Traders honored to have been nominated for the Benzinga FinTech Awards in the People's Choice category of Best Financial Literacy Tool. If you enjoy the content we put out, we would love to have your vote. You can click the link that Abiel You can click the link that ADL will put up, and it takes about 2 seconds to vote. You can vote one time per day per 24-hour period. Meetups coming up. We've got St. Louis coming up October 19th with Andrew and Kurt. San Diego, October 26th. Andrew will be there. And then Clearwater Beach, Florida, November 16th. I am unsure on who will be there yet. But as we get closer to the date, we'll be able to let you know on that. We had a bunch of non-members come out to the New York City meetup, and it was awesome to have them. So as a thank you, we're offering a 30% off lifetime memberships or 25% annual to the chat room. Just use the promo code New York City at checkout, and it'll apply to that. ADL can put up direct links as well. And then also, like somebody asked earlier about to try the chat room if you're on YouTube and would like to trade with us live all day or watch us trade live, and get all of the segments, such as, well, obviously we've got the pre-market show, but then Andrew trading live, Brian trading live, Brian with his swing trade discussions in the afternoons, Williams trade reviews, Kurt's fireside chat, all those kinds of things. You can use the discount code premarket24 for a discount 1-week trial. Does not auto-renew, does not change to another kind of membership. And we really appreciate thumbs up on the pre-market show. Also, if you hit subscribe and the notification bell, you'll be notified when we go live in the mornings or when trade reviews start up or any of that other live content that we put out or any of the interviews that we have with people like Mike Bellafiore from S&B Capital or Dr. Steenbarger. A couple big hitting interviews also coming up. So I'm not sure when they'll be released, but I know they're on deck to be released as well. Also, we are very proud to be supporters of Traders for a Cause. You can go to their website. If you just look up tradersforacause.com, see the charities that they contribute to. They've got a big event coming up October 11th through 13th in Las Vegas. Andrew will be going to that. If you use promo code BearableVIP at checkout on their site to get a ticket, you can save $250 off the cost of a ticket.
All right, guys. Excellent.
That's all I got for you.
All right, let's get to it, guys. Let's make this list a little smaller, more fine-tuned, and let's find some support and resistance off this list. So 9 a.m. Eastern time. Good morning if you're just joining us. And for those on YouTube, we have our camera up now for the first time, and we're going to get Norm's up as well as soon as we can figure out how to do that. And if our voice was not waking you up, our ugly faces will, and you could trade better because you'll be fully awake to get going for the markets. All right, let's look at LVS. LVS here, guys. Again, pre-market activity still looks pretty flat, but hopefully this gets better. This gets better at the open. It is a nicey stock, and at the moment is not doing much. Only 165,000 shares traded. Not much since we saw it earlier today. High of your pre-market sitting at 58.86. And your low sitting right at 58.30, so we'll mark that down. Then towards the bottom, you got plenty down here, moving averages, highs and lows from the last two trading days. I don't think you need to add any more. But you know what? You do have an area right in here around, that looks like 57.85. So I'm going to mark that down. Several days testing this here, support, resistance. So we'll mark that there just to see what goes on out of that. And then towards the top, you have a very clean moving average right on there. I'm going to mark that down because that can definitely play some resistance there at 59.25. Above that, you have 60.81. And then this stock seems to have several days on here. One is sitting at 59.77. Obviously, this is a big move from 60.81 to where the price action is now. That's a long stretch, so you want to have some levels in between there of where you can lose some kind of momentum or have a possible profit to target reward ratio there going on. So here we have a WFC. Again, this is a bank stock, so usually these banking companies or tickers do not move very well. This one is up quite a bit, say 3% with some good volume. But look how this 1.7 is actually creating a really decent pre-market activity, which is usually not the case for these type of stocks. So we'll definitely watch this one. High of the pre-market sitting at 50.59. Let's look at what we have towards the bottom of this. We have a nice gap between the price action now and the last area of the high from yesterday and the day before. So just going to go back here and see what do we have in between. It'll be good to get some kind of daily level in between there because that is a huge gap. I don't think we will drop all the way down there without having some kind of consolidation happening at some area. So I'm looking in here. This looks very choppy, guys. So not the easiest or best chart to find a level, but it looks like around 50. Yeah, it looks like 50 is an area where you have some support and resistance throughout several days. Again, not the best. This is very, very choppy in here. Not as clean as I would like to find a good level. So we'll mark down 50 there. That's a good midpoint of this stock. And obviously at these whole numbers, you are going to get some kind of change or in direction or so forth. If we can break out of the high of the day at 50.59, let's go back and take some candles up here. We have this one all the way up here at 52, and then one up here at 51.53, which look great off the daily. Going back to March, again, I don't think this thing will move that much. Usually these stocks don't move that aggressively. So towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, plus the previous day close, plus moving averages. Again, do not need to add any more in WFC. CTRP, guys, has some serious volume, 8.9 million shares traded so far. Your low of your pre-market sitting at 27.70, so we'll mark that down. And then below that, are we all-time low here? Seems like we are, because we've just been dropping nicely. Oh, maybe not. Right here, going back to November, December, we do have some areas. The bottom of this cycle is 25.12, and then above that, we have this one here at 26.54, and then above that, nice one over here at 27. You can see the days is creating some support, some resistance twice before it breaks out, right back down for some support, and then resistance as well again. So 27.65 is nice. Towards the top, guys, you have some really some 2 good moving averages. The low from yesterday, previous day close, and then the highs and low from the last 2 trading days, with the high from yesterday as well, saying slightly above 31. So don't need to add any more on CTRP. Volume is great. Look at the activities, creating some good pre-market activity as well. Here is MU. So MU at the moment is again, one that's going to be very active today. 1.2 million shares on MU. When's the last time you saw that in the pre-market for this stock, right? So here we have low of your pre-market 45.15. Above that, we have 46.30. Oh, sorry, 46.28. That's your high and low. And you can see how those two have created, are basically confirming some of the support and resistance areas that we're seeing on this stock on the daily. You can see that, right? Several areas using it as support and resistance. So these two price levels are going to be important. If we can break out of those one way or another, we can possibly get some good moves towards the bottom or towards the top on this one. Another level here, 43.84, and then a nice one all the way down here, 41.70 towards the top. We do have some really good levels since we've been consolidating around this area, 50 and 48. Beautiful consolidation here. Highs and lows listed all right on there. You have your 51.33, and then towards the top, so it's a few candles on here. I like this one here, this price, 47 on the dot, guys. Several days using that as support and resistance. This one not so much. It did close near it, but not so much as you have on here. So that's plenty for MU, guys. Definitely one of my favorites this morning. AMD I have as a possible continuation, not continuation, as a possible play if MU gets really active. Hopefully this will do some kind of a sympathy move, but right now not doing much. It is still stuck within the bigger side of this range. It actually broke out of it a little bit. It's starting to bounce back up. So again, if we can break out of this low, it can be interesting. Towards the top, you have plenty of levels, so don't add any more, guys. This is very congested up here. You have your highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, and you have moving averages here as well. So again, I wouldn't add any more towards the top here. Besides, the range. Let's keep the range, 31.84, and then we had another smaller range around 30.70, right? So we have this smaller range here, and you have the big range, which we're kind of breaking out of now. So let's see if we can get some momentum. We have a moving average down here as well. That could be a good area we can possibly get to if we could start losing it here. CCL, good for a possible continuation. Norman's mentioning his level at 42. I'm going to put in the high and low of the pre-market. Your high basically very close to the low of yesterday, so do not need to mark that down. And then 43, here it is. 43 is right on there. And then towards the top, you have your previous day close. Above that, a nice little pop right in here at 44.46. I think that's plenty for CCL if we can get some continuation today. BYND, so beyond the meat here, this one is down quite a bit. We got some levels already that I don't think we need to add anymore, guys. So you have your previous day close, your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days right on here, right? So these have created some good levels. One here, one here, one here, and also one here. So just if you look at those levels alone, you can see how clean that plays out throughout the daily chart. Just follow the red line across. You can see how this is playing some good support and resistance throughout the day. So Not going to add no more on BYND. We're ready to go on this if it becomes active. AMDT, this is a possible. Not going to add any levels on this one. But again, if this can get going, depending on the news for interactive brokers, it could be nice. But Roku, we're definitely going to add levels on Roku. We're going to be ready to shoot on this one because we have our low of our pre-market sitting right where the previous day close is. The lows from the last 2 trading days are also right on there. Again, we're creating some kind of support and consolidation period the last couple of days. 98.71 is the lowest point of this consolidation. If we can go back here and look at other periods of consolidation on the daily chart, obviously this is already marked down by that 98.71. You do have a day right here around 95.25. We can mark that down as well. And obviously another period, a nice consolidation around 92.16. Now these are very far out, but anything is possible with the way Roku has been trading. I will not be shocked if it blows through these levels and moving averages, because again, just look at the drops that it has had, right? After every consolidation, you get a drop, barely any consolidation, and then a huge drop, right? Obviously, I think the SPY helped with this day here, but nevertheless, this thing has been on a highway to hell. All right, so AGTC, okay, getting a little better, starting to find some support here. Let's do some levels just in case. This one is not a low flow, guys. Actually 18 million shares float. It is on the lower side, but it's not a low flow. So 538 high of your pre-market, low of the pre-market sitting at 421. So we'll mark that down. And we do have some areas over here we can mark as well. 495. Let's go back. Oh, nice big gap here. So we have 3 levels between this gap already, basically. So we're not going to add any more. But the top of this gap seems to be 655. So plenty of levels on this one, guys. Pre-market activity is starting to get a little bit better. We're starting to get some support here above the moving averages. So hopefully the volume continues to come in, creating a nice flow. I want to see that nice flow follow through. All right, so that is what we have. Norm, anything that we might have missed?
No, you've probably...
Oh, your mic cut off. Norm has been having a few issues with his mic, with connections this week. Let's look at LIF. LIF is interesting. Yeah, LIF is interesting because you do have this support right here. So that's interesting there. CGC. Yeah, Marek, these are some good possibles. Yep, now I hear you. You're back.
Yeah, sorry, I drop off at the same time every day. I got to figure out what's going on.
Oh.
No, I've pretty much what we've already covered is what I've got as well. I'm gonna keep my eyes out, see if anything new comes up, and I'll pipe in if I see something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, actually, we do have a decent watch list. It is Friday, so this is not bad at all. I actually like what I have on here. Let's just recap it real quick. LVS is here, WFC. Again, for the type of stock this has a beautiful pre-market activity, some good volume. CTRP, also amazing volume. Not the best pre-market activity, but it's starting to get better as volume is starting to come in here. So let's hope this continues to create a nice range for us. MU, definitely my favorite this morning. Let's see if we can break out as 46.29 and hopefully start heading up towards that 47 and closing this gap. That's a possibility. AMD is not doing much. CCL, these are all possible for me, guys. If these hits our scanners, I'll definitely be tuning into them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could do one more on my main list. I think that's probably going to be Roku. Just going through this. Yeah, that's going to be Roku today. Definitely got to keep a close eye on Roku. It has been so active and fun to trade for those that have been able to catch some moves on that. SQ, let's look at SQ. Yeah, SQ could be good for a possible continuation. Doesn't have great volume right now as it did yesterday. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But it could be a good possible continuation. Again, it's trying to break out of this prior area of resistance, right? See right there, just right where the previous day close has been, support on these couple of days right on here. And then became resistance for a couple of days here, maybe 1 or 2, right? Once it lost, it came back up, couldn't get above it. And today definitely tested that. We're right on it, guys. So this can be, if it can break out of this, and with some momentum, you have some good areas you can reach out to. That 62.50-ish or so. So that'll be amazing if SQ can get going in that direction. It's going to need some help because right now the volume is very weak. Does not look like it wants to get going. Disney's on the way down. Oh, Disney's interesting. Thank you, Lucas. Anybody else that mentioned Disney? Yeah, Disney does look interesting. We have a nice drop here. One thing right now is the volume is not great. but it does look interesting for a possible. You can throw it on here if it hits our scanners. It's losing this area of support. We talked about this, I think, earlier in the week. Right here, you can see the loss. It lost it yesterday, but it recovered nicely. But today could be a good continuation on Disney. Just off the daily, looks very nice for a possible drop. So that's a good possible as well if it hits our scanners. Several breakdown with some good volume. All right, folks, that is what we have. As you know, today is Friday, so as usual, you want to trade discipline. You want to be able to go into your weekend not forcing anything, trading trading with you're following your rules and knowing that whether you had a red day, green day, or flat day, that you follow your rules, you were disciplined. And this way, throughout the weekend, you can hang with your family and friends and be in the moment and not thinking about why did I force my rules? Why did I not follow my rules and did something that was completely, as we would say, stupid? Don't do that. Focus on good trading, good patterns, good form, and have a great weekend, guys.
So I'm gonna pipe in real quick before. It'll take about 2 seconds. But somebody asked about the new Interactive Brokers Lite platform with zero commissions, minimums, all that stuff to compete with Robinhood. And asked how it'll affect our trading. It'll affect most of our trading. Absolutely nothing. We won't change to that. I won't change to that. I mean, they're making money, and the way they're making money is selling order flow to market makers and dark pools and such, internalizing orders and getting the spread on it. There'll be you won't be able to use market orders. You'll have to add liquidity. They'll be competing for worst fills. So while it seems free, you'll pay in the not getting a good fill. And on top of it, you won't be able to place any market orders. You'll have to add liquidity, and usually you get a liquidity rebate. They'll be keeping that and get money from the rebate. So that's just a couple of things that will, it's not worth it. If you're going to seriously day trade, there are costs associated with any business, and commissions and fees are just one of those. We try to keep them to a minimum, but you're going to pay fees and commissions, period.
There's nothing free in this world, guys. Nothing. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, where's the fine print? Nothing is free. Just remember that if something seems free, something's off. All right, guys, thank you. And Master Chief, I agree. You want to trade discipline every day, but for some reason, Fridays, man, it's something special about Fridays.
Nothing worse than having to sleep on a bad day for extra nights.
Absolutely. Something special about those Fridays. Take care, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you like the content, and we'll see you guys on Monday, 8:30 Eastern time. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, take care, guys. Trade safe.